Sometime between 1987 and 1991, there was a wealthy man at a church in Dallas who wanted to start serving in some way the needs of the poor. And he and some others in the church decided to launch something called Central Dallas Food Pantry. That wealthy man was a man named Jim Sowell. And it started as a little tiny food pantry right off of Central Expressway, somewhere around Knox Henderson. I was there on opening day. I was the minister of the church where it launched. And it kind of did fine. It was a food pantry. And a few years later, they were ready to try to do a few more things, and it hadn't quite done as much as they wanted it to. And they hired a guy named Larry James, who, to make a long story short, was born for this job. And so he became the CEO, the leader of Central, what was it called? Central Dallas Ministry. And then the Richards Group took them through, and he writes about that in this book, they took them through a rebranding and they renamed it to City Square. It's really impossible to describe the impact of City Square on this city. For example, Mayor Rawlins had a poverty task force, and the person that was chosen to lead that task force was Larry James. Larry James is my longest time friend in Dallas, and I met him before I moved to Dallas. And so I took my own initiative and said, I'm doing his book. And so I am presenting the synopsis of House Rules by Larry James, and he's sitting here. And I'm worried about that because I know that I'll miss some things that he would have emphasized. So, we could begin with stories, and there are many. So if you'll turn all the way to page 8 in your handout, on the left, the name of the book, House Rules, Insights for Innovative Leaders. This is not a book about City Square. It's a book with some context from City Square, but it is a book about leadership, and it's a book about leadership in any organization. Although he looks at his nonprofit experience, it's really a book about leadership anywhere. On the left, first you think about the needs to be met by your organization. Then you think about the demands of leadership. Then you figure out what your rules will be. Your rules and the rules for your organization. And the rules for how things will be done by you and others within the organization. You need some house rules. What is the point of this book? People in need are also people with skills and gifts to contribute. Innovative leaders find and affirm the contributions in all of the people within an organization and set about building a better community and future together. That's the point. Why is this book worth our time? Here are 3 reasons. Number 1, Larry James is an accomplished leader in a major nonprofit in Dallas. His playbook, this book, is worth reading to see how he did it and how he does it. Number 2, there are people in poverty and near poverty in Dallas. Do not kid yourself. Dallas has serious need, the Dallas area. We need to build a better community with such people as, circle this word, partners. They are not people we serve. They are partners who serve with us. This playbook will help us know how to do that. Number 3, to put it simply, this is a book written by a man who has had to implement the great leadership lessons of the era and figure out a few of his own. He has successfully provided genuine leadership. All right, the book is filled with thoughts about money and trust and housing and partners and hiring and alignment and listening. Here are my 7 lessons and takeaways. Number 1, read more books. To build your knowledge base and to build your compassion muscles. Quick aside, did you know that research is being done on how people build empathy, and one way they are discovering it is to read more novels? Isn't that interesting? Read more novels. He recommends many books, but one that I've got to tackle, I'm a David Halberstam fan, but I've never read this one by Halberstam, The Children. Number 7, don't be selfish or self-centered or arrogant. Be humble. House Rules, Insights for Innovative Leaders. I hope you'll read it. It's worth reading. Hope you found this useful.